look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when the topic of Floyd Mayweather and his real estate claims came up. Instead of brushing it off, he leaned in and basically said, "Wait a second, those numbers don't really line up."
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my f***ing jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so you hate him.
And that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from an individual, from a billionaire that had a 9% interest on the...
He went on to challenge the narrative around Floyd's property empire, questioning how someone could supposedly control dozens of high-value buildings without clear verification. Rogan's point was simple. There's a big difference between flashy claims and assets that are actually confirmed.
To the IRS, how much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to
it's
pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money, there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats.
That's where things start heating up. Because Floyd built his entire Money Mayweather identity around the image of endless wealth cash stacks, luxury timepieces, private jets, and a business empire that looked untouchable. But behind the scenes, reports circulating in financial circles suggest things may not be as straightforward as they appear.
Floyd Mayweather is made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, and another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings.
According to Business Insider, At least 2 of Mayweather's commercial properties have reportedly faced foreclosure issues. There were also claims that his Las Vegas Strip club property risks being taken over due to unpaid taxes. On top of that, lawsuits have surfaced alleging unpaid bills for high-end watches and jewelry, claims Floyd has denied. Still, the conversation begins to shift from admiration to scrutiny.
Said that, things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million.
The same report mentioned that too. Trump Las Vegas condos were briefly seized over tax issues before being recovered after payment. There's also talk of a massive $54 million loan tied to assets like his homes, jet, and business ventures. Whether this is exaggeration or misunderstanding, the gap between the public image and these reports has definitely sparked debate. Rogan's skepticism already shook things a bit, but then Sonnen jumps in and completely flips the tone.
What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer that they say can't read. That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing gym, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke.
Sonnen doesn't ease into it. He comes in blunt. He basically asks, why is anyone surprised? He turns the question back on the audience. If regular people work every week because they need money, why would it be shocking for a fighter to keep competing for the same reason? Classic Chow part truth, part provocation, but he doesn't stop there. He starts breaking down the myth around boxing paydays, suggesting that many of those massive earnings figures come from promotional hype rather than publicly verified data. When he points out that the companies handling pay-per-view sales don't confirm those extreme numbers, it challenges years of boxing narratives in one shot.
A gambling addict. He's got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. First off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?
And he's not just targeting Floyd, he's calling out the entire system. Then he shifts to the chaos around fight announcements, explaining how scheduling multiple bouts, especially around something like a Mike Tyson matchup, could frustrate promoters. In boxing, timing and exclusivity are everything. Here's where it gets ironic. Floyd has accused networks like Showtime of questionable practices, while critics argue his own promotions like the one involving Logan Paul have created similar confusion. At that point, it starts to feel like everyone is blaming everyone else.
And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And, yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be sympathetic.
But despite all the criticism, one thing remains undeniable. People can question Floyd's finances, debate his contracts, or criticize exhibition fights, but the moment his name shows up on a fight poster, the entire combat sports world pays attention.
Mayweather owes Logan Paul $1.3 million. No, he doesn't. Just to clear that up, no, he doesn't. Will Logan ever get the money? I think Floyd's broke. Floyd does not owe Logan $1.3 million. Floyd's promotion owes Logan $1.3 million. And no, of course he's not going to get it. That promotion's already shut down. Allegedly, by the way.
Then Jason Whitlock and his panel step in, and suddenly the discussion feels like a financial investigation. Whitlock leans into the idea also echoed by Shannon Sharpe that Floyd's return could be driven by a massive payday. When names like Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford come up, the financial angle becomes obvious. Those are the only kinds of fights that generate that level of money. Then Whitlock throws in a reference to Rocky, asking, "Why do you fight?" And suddenly, the conversation turns philosophical.
Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco suggested on their podcast that Floyd Mayweather is talking about coming back, unretiring.
He is.
Because he's broke.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip here of Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco.
There are only 3 fights that Floyd can have that can command and get the kind of money he's looking to recoup for money that may have been lost, or money that may have been stolen, or money he may have spent, to date. For one, a rematch with Canelo. That's one fight.
Canelo too big.
Listen to me, Unc. We talk about making that money. He ain't gonna have no.
Because here's the reality: Floyd built his entire brand around money. He literally transformed from pretty boy into money. And as Whitlock points out, when your image is built on wealth, even a rumor about financial trouble becomes a major headline. Another panelist adds a grounded perspective. The real issue isn't how much Floyd earned, it's what we don't know: liquidity, debts, taxes, spending habits, the unseen side of the equation. Suddenly, the story feels less like a victory lap and more like a complicated financial puzzle.
$1 billion, and he's 47 years old, and he's completely broke. He's won the prize. This is, of all the idiots that we've seen out there, celebrities, actors, entertainers that have lost a lot of money, this guy would take the cake. To blow a bill before he even hits 50 is unimaginable. It actually is sad. It's a cautionary tale. We have seen it time and time again. But who actually wants to watch this guy fight? Like, people that love him. If he comes out and what if he loses and looks terrible and gets destroyed? Well, look, if you love him or hate him, you can say, well, he's nearly 50 years old. This doesn't prove.
Then Andre Ward enters the conversation, and everything shifts. Instead of speculation, he brings a fighter's perspective. He acknowledges Floyd's work ethic, reminding everyone that behind the flashy lifestyle was someone deeply committed to training. Ward admits he feels conflicted about a comeback, not because of rumors, but because boxing becomes part of who you are. He explains how the adrenaline, attention, and massive paydays create a feeling that ordinary life just can't replace.
Part of that is because of the way Floyd Mayweather goes about his business. He's been filthy rich. He's made his name, his legacy, and a lot of his reputation wasn't just the boxing, it was the money. It's the money man. What I have, what I'm driving, what I'm living in, what I'm flying in. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather had more supporters for most of his fights or more haters. But regardless of where you fall on that line, Floyd Mayweather made it work for him when many people, promoters included, networks included, early on didn't think that he can.
Then he touches on a potential Pacquiao rematch and offers an interesting insight. Older fighters sometimes produce more action, not less, because they can't rely on movement like they used to. Less speed can lead to more exchanges, which could actually make the fight more exciting. But he also highlights the real danger. Your mind believes you're still at your peak, while your body quietly disagrees. That single idea explains so many risks in boxing. Still, even Ward admits that if these legends step back into the ring, curiosity will pull everyone in.
Watch a fighter, he'll say he don't watch him, but he'll watch any potential opponent over and over and over, and he has to process, can he do anything with me? How does my skill set line up with his? Can I beat him? The problem with being 49 years of age is sometimes your brain can see things and tell you things that your body's not in agreement with. That's the problem with age. Your brain is still saying, I'm him. Your brain is still saying, man, I'm Money Mayweather. Man, these youngsters can't deal with me. But your body is saying, brother, we can't do it like that anymore.
Looking at the bigger picture, it feels like multiple perspectives colliding at once. Rogan questions the financial narrative, Sonnen challenges the payday myths, Whitlock's panel dissects the business side, and Ward brings it back to the mindset of a fighter. One side says Floyd is chasing money. Another says the rumors are overblown, and Ward reminds us that sometimes it's about something deeper: competition, identity, and the spotlight. That's the real conflict here. Legacy versus longevity, business versus passion.
That's the struggle, and that's the danger of coming back at this age. So part of me wants to see these guys continue to make money. Part of me wants to see these guys, how do they do it at this age? Man, show me something. Show me how your mind can overtake the deficiencies you may have in your body at your age. But the deeper part of me, man, I want to see Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on a beach somewhere, living off the fruits of their labor, helping the game however they see fit to help the game, and just watching the next generations do what they do. But hey, we got to fight September 19th.
At the end of the day, regardless of the reason, money, legacy, or love for the sport, the conversation itself proves Floyd's influence. Because look at what's happening. Everyone is debating, analyzing, and arguing about his next move, and that's exactly what legends do. They keep the world watching.